Okay, this video is going to be one that you guys requested on how I stay fit. Okay, so just to start the video, I just got done with kind of a slow run. Okay, I know I look really tall, but I'm only 5'3" rounded up, and I'm 62, and I don't take any meds. I've never had any plastic surgery or Botox. Like, I'm all natural. And so this video is based on how I do it, because most women my age that I see, they're either fat, or if they're thin, it's because they've done liposuction. A lot of them are on medications for anxiety or depression. A lot of them don't have a libido anymore. And most people don't want to work out, especially as they get older and it gets harder. So, tip number one is to be embodied, or what I call inside out. I think a lot of people, women especially, they look in the mirror and they decide what they like or don't like, and then they set about trying diet pills, liposuction, plastic surgery. They get fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake nails, nose jobs, boob jobs, ass jobs, and they might take diet pills. Like right now, Ozempic is super popular. They use filters on their faces, and all these are abandoning of oneself and how one really feels. And it is the opposite of embodiment. Embodiment or inside out. So those women are outside in. They look in the mirror and they change everything they don't like, either in their photos or through surgery, pills. Yeah. And they are neglecting how they actually feel on the inside. How do I feel in my body? That's the number one thing that you have to do. This is going to be the first of several videos, and I just want to talk about being embodied. Embodied so that you realize when you're tired that you get rest. Embodied that when you're stressed, you deal with it at the root cause rather than taking medication. Embodied so you're more focused on how you feel in your body rather than how you look in the mirror, because looks are can be very distorted and be led a lot by what society says. But in your body, like, can you take deep breaths? Are you holding tension anywhere? When you move, does it hurt? Does it feel good? What makes you feel good? You know, when you eat, paying attention to the taste of the foods, noticing when you're hungry, noticing when you're full, and even noticing when you're eating just to eat. Just being aware of how things feel, and that gives people really good feedback. For example, if I eat, I can't eat sugar in the morning because it makes me sleepy. I can't drink alcohol in the daytime because it makes me sleepy. I'm embodied. I notice when I do this, this happens. Okay, so if I don't work out, I don't feel as energized. If I'm holding a lot of stress, I can't take a deep breath. So just go into your body, notice how you feel. And that's the same with exercising. So I'm against wearing earbuds during exercise, because it takes me away from being in my body. When I'm exercising, I want my whole awareness to be in my body, in my muscles, in my breathing, in my movement. The same way as when I'm fucking. I'm embodied, okay? How does this feel? How do I feel? How does my heart feel? How does my pussy feel? So being embodied is super important. I think that a lot of people walk around, especially if they're working a lot and they have a lot of going on, a lot of mental chatter, you know, they're disconnected from here down, and they may not even have ever heard the term embodied. You may have never heard the term embodied. So that's the whole baseline for it, because that's the whole foundation, is being embodied. Okay, and noticing, when I do this, this happens, how does my body feel? That's why often a Pilates instructor will start the session with, how does your body feel today? And every day will be different. Some days you might feel more tired. Like today, I woke up really groggy because I've been making some poor decisions in the middle of the night. Like when I wake up, I'll start watching YouTube videos, and some of them wake me up and I'll be awake for a couple hours. And then by the time I go back to sleep, it's 5 in the morning. So I'm groggy, so that's that correlation. If I stay up too late, I feel groggy in the morning. When I sleep in, I feel groggy in the morning. So it's just noticing these connections and having some awareness of the body. The embodiment foundation is important because that's going to be the foundation for eating and for the kind of workouts that you do, and for noticing when you have pain and what to do about the pain, and for building strength. And also for like how I feel in my body is more important than what other people tell me how I should look. For example, some people think I'm too chubby, some people think I'm too skinny, my nose is too big. But if I'm embodied, their thoughts don't matter. So being embodied, okay? So eating, how does this food taste? How do I feel after I eat it? Am I energized or am I sleepy? Sugar will make people sleepy. Alcohol will make people sleepy. I'm not saying you can't eat those things, but just notice. That's called being embodied. It's just being aware. I'm not telling you to change anything. This is just about being aware. When you're having sex, what feels good, what doesn't, be in your body. Okay? And then that makes it also easy to notice when there are habits that force us to go out of our body. Some people just dissociate because their body is so unpleasant to be in. So figure that out. Being embodied, or what I call from the inside out, is how do I feel? Okay, and so as far as food, movement, sleep, so that's number one. And then also realizing that we're spiritual beings in physical form, and as much as we want to, I believe, have a spiritual life, like a meditation practice or talking to God or a higher self or whatever, we also are in our animal spirits. We have to nurture our animal spirits, and a lot of religions teach you that that's bad, your physicality is bad, you shouldn't masturbate, you shouldn't fuck, you should just be the spiritual being. That's spiritual bypassing, the same way that people who are just physical and don't pay attention to their hearts are bypassing. So I believe in both, and that rest and activity are the steps of progress, and that's also being embodied. Like, we're spiritual beings in physical form, and we have to nurture our body. We can't just disconnect from it and ignore it and just see it as this object that takes us through life. Like, this is it. This is the thing I go through life with. Like, I'm inside of here, So you might just do a little, I'm just going to invite you to do a couple of things right now. Is just as you're sitting there, just notice, what you're seeing. Just notice what you're hearing. Use your senses to perceive what's around you. And now notice what's inside you. Like, how is your breathing? Are you holding your breath, or are you taking deep breaths? Are you hungry or full? Are you thirsty or not? Now, just bring your awareness to your feet. Do you feel your feet? How do they feel? Bring your awareness to your hands. Bring your awareness to your heart. How does it feel? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you jealous or angry? That's all embodiment stuff. Making friends with your feelings. Feelings are in the body, trauma's in the body, and I think a lot of people who had difficult childhoods want to dissociate from their body, But when you dissociate, so what I'm teaching you about exercise, you cannot dissociate. So that's, you know, you might want to see a therapist or somebody if you dissociate, or read books about parts work or inner child healing. The whole foundation for what I'm teaching you about exercise and the way that I do it starts from the inside out by being embodied, which is the opposite of dissociating and the opposite of trying to do a bunch of surgeries to fix something I don't like, which is all mental based. It's not being embodied at all. The only reason to get a nose job would be if you can't breathe. The only reason to get a breast job would be if you had your breast removed as a mastectomy for cancer and you want to have breasts. There's no reason to do any of these surgeries. My journey has always been, I would rather focus on loving how I look than changing it through the knife. Because when you start changing things and taking pills, those are all distancing strategies. They're opposite of being embodied. They take us further away from loving ourselves. And then people have to wonder, who am I really? Would people like me if they knew the real me, or they just like me because I had this facelift? And I think those are really unattractive. I think that people are very beautiful when they're embodied, and that brings like a natural healthy glow and a healthy joy, because then it lets people know, oh, that's too much sun, or the heat isn't good for me, or I do better when I go to bed at this time, or I prefer tennis over running, or, you know, these are the foods that are really good for my digestion, but these foods constipate me. So the more people get embodied, the more they're going to thrive, and I think the more beautiful we are, because it brings us closer to our true nature. So instead of making one long video, I'm just going to make a bunch and add them to a playlist called My Workout Practice, and this is video number 1. I'm going to call it Embodiment Inside Out, or something like that. I'm always so aware of how I feel. I'm super aware of how I feel all the time. Now, some people can take it to extremes. We're like, oh, I feel this and I feel that. It's like, not to obsess and be like over therapy ourselves, but just to notice things, you know. And there are different body types, you know, like there are big people that are like bigger boned, like Oprah Winfrey, for example. And then there are people who are just naturally more petite. Some people are just very thin and small, and that's just how they look. You know, we don't have to look like anyone else. We just have to be more of who we are. Like, on my coaching business, I say, who were you before the world told you who to be? It's just find you. You know, find more of you by going inside, being embodied, okay? And that's the first step. But there's a lot more, like working out. People are going to have to get used to sweating and being uncomfortable and being a little bit of pain, getting out of their comfort zone. And that's the animal spirits part. So we'll talk about that in the next video. We'll talk about animal spirits. So this one is called Embodiment. Thank you for watching my video.